Today's project is kind of a big one. Big in that if I get it wrong, it's going to take a whole lot to fix it. But what I'm doing today is I am laying laminate on the Galley countertop. And right now it's upside down, so don't think that this is what it's going to look like, but this is the bottom side. And what I'm going to do is put the contact cement on this side. I'm going to lay it over here on this settee, and if it gets some contact cement on this material, I'm not sweating it because it's going to get replaced anyway. So I'll put the contact cement on this side first, lay it over here, then I'll come back and put the contact cement actually on the countertop itself. And then the instructions say to wait an hour until it's nice and tacky. It's a water-based contact cement, by the way. So after an hour, we'll put the two pieces together, and I'll do so as carefully as possible. What I'm going to do is use these quarter round pieces, which will serve as a support for the laminate while it is being put in place, to keep the two surfaces separated. And then the back of the laminate is the only thing that's really critical. I've got plenty of extra material along the front edges and the side edges, because I'm going to be using my router to trim this flush. So anyway, and as a result of today's project, I have crap everywhere. You can see all of my weights here. I'm not gonna be working out today, at least not with the weights. Those are for weight onto the laminate once it's in place and until it dries tomorrow. But I don't think I've let my boat get this messy in quite a long time. But it's necessary for what I'm doing, so I will keep you updated as the morning goes on, and we'll see if we can get this thing in place and in the proper place, and get this galley looking good.
Luke, I am your father. Alright guys, so the laminate is on, or excuse me, the contact cement is on, and we're going to let it dry for an hour. And you'll notice that at the very front, I didn't forget to put the contact cement on. What I'm going to do is use liquid nails for this section, for various reasons, but the fact that the sink goes here, and knowing exactly where to put the laminate, all that kind of stuff on this part, would be, I'm sure I would miss something. So I'm going to put this stuff, liquid nails, onto this surface here. Another reason why I'm doing that, one of the side benefits of doing that, is that I'll have this part of the laminate dry so that I can handle it when I lift it up to put it on this surface here. So we're going to let this dry for an hour, and then 10 minutes before I'm ready to lay the laminate on, I will put the liquid nails on here, because it just takes 10 minutes for it to be ready. And then I'll put the wood dowels, or the quarter round pieces that you see here. I'll put those here to support the laminate, as I explained before. So I'll update you when we get a little bit closer.
All right, here is the aftermath. I feel pretty good about the way that I put the laminate on, in that I was able to, you know, put the laminate up against, especially in the back. That's the most critical area, as I said before. But I was able to maneuver that edge all the way to where it needed to be. In one place right over here, it actually had to be tucked up underneath this shelf front. And that actually went pretty well. And I'll be totally honest with you, I'm a little on the concern side whether or not the contact cement was too dry and set up when I put the two pieces together, the laminate on the countertop. It didn't, it said it should feel tacky, and it didn't feel tacky, and so I just don't know, but I left it on there the appropriate time that the instructions said, and it said to reactivate the contact cement, you can apply a second coat, a wet second coat, and it will reactivate. So before I put the laminate on the countertop, I applied a second coat of the contact cement, and then with no longer than 5 minutes later, I actually applied it to the top. So anyway, I have it wetted down here. As I said before, the front area here is the liquid nails, and that is going to set up really fast and really hard. In fact, I almost wonder if I shouldn't have used liquid nails on the whole damn thing. But it is what it is, and I think I'm going to leave it just like this for 48 full hours so that it has the very best chance of drying and being a solidly attached laminate. So day after tomorrow, I will take these weights and pieces of wood off, and we'll give this thing the strength test and see how she does. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it will be set up and holding everything in place the way that it should. And then at that time, I can break out my router and go to work trimming these edges all the way around, and hopefully have a nice looking countertop. But we're going to have to wait for that a couple of days, so we'll see what happens, and I'll bring you in and update you at that point. All right, welcome to day 2 of lamination. So as you can see here, I've gotten started with my router and trimming the edges. So this is my first time using a router, and so far I'm mostly pleased. There's clearly a technique to using a router, and I still need to develop that. I hate developing that or trying to with you know, such an important area here, but I had confidence that I could you know, do well enough, and it looks like it's going to work out okay. One thing to keep in mind is that almost all of these outer edges will be covered with a fence that will prevent things from sliding and rolling off the countertop when you're rolling around in the ocean. So so far so good. As far as the gluing is concerned, not so good. I am not happy with this product. This is Weldwood contact cement, water-based permanent bond on contact. Followed the instructions to the T and got poor results. There are certain areas that are adhesed well, and there are certain areas that are not. But again, because most of the edges will be covered with a fence which lips over the edge of the laminate, I'm not too concerned about it, and plus there'll be no upwards force on the laminate that I can think of. So so far so good, but when I continue on down to the left here, doing that lamination, I will be using the liquid nails, which if you'll recall, I used that in the front here where the sink will go, and it held perfectly like you would think it would. So that will be the future, and unfortunately this will end up being a $30 loss because I can't return it at this time, but boy am I not happy with that. And I'm open to the fact that maybe there's a step I missed, I didn't do it right, but I don't think so. So anyway, I'll continue to use the router on the edges. One thing that I did discover is that where I use the liquid nails up at the front, the router doesn't like cutting through that. So the rest should go easier. All right. The deed is done. So here it is, the rough part. The tough part is done. The edges are trimmed, and once again I have a hole in my boat, and I'm happy about that. In fact, I have 2 holes in my boat. And so if we want to dress it up a little bit, we can put the sink in. See how that looks. And there's that. So coming together, I have the new faucet, but I don't have it here with me, or else I'd stick that in the hole. But so far so good. I'm really liking everything about this. I'm liking the color of laminate that I chose. I'm liking the job that the router did. I'm very pleased with the job I did with the router my first time out. So anyway, everything looks pretty good right now. I just have one heck of a cleanup ahead of me, and all of these weights and everything can go home, I think, until the next laminate job comes around. But that's it for now. All right, just bringing you up to date on where I stand with the galley redo. As you can see, I have the sink in now, and it is permanently in, so it's glued and sealed in place. I have the new faucet on, which I think looks pretty darn awesome. Sitting on top of the dark black laminate. Over here you can see that this is all populated with junk, and which is exactly what I intended. It's a place to put all my junk. And I've got the the shelf front in place. And then over here you can see this part of the area forward of the divider is finished. The only thing that's missing is the shelf front, and this space along here is where that will go. And then I'll put a piece of molding in front all the way down to here so that everything will be clean and finished and nice. This is my next task, is continuing on aft from here, and you can see how awful that looks over there, and that's exactly what this used to look like. So I've got to take this laminate off and put new laminate down to continue on with the black laminate, which will cover all of this space. And before I do any of that, what I've got to do is, you can see up here the condition of the deck screws, and those, like the other ones around the boat, are going to have to be pulled and replaced, and that's going to get done first. And then what I'm going to do with this wiring, by the way, is I'm going to get a piece of appropriate size PVC pipe. I'm going to cut a slot in it and put it around this wiring, and then get some pipe clamps, hopefully some white decorative white clamps, pipe clamps, and occasionally bolt the clamps to the deck screw here, you know, periodically along the way, all the way from the bulkhead that you can see down there, all the way back to the very back, and you can see where that ugly wiring goes now and what it looks like. So I'm going to get PVC, cut a slot in it, put the wiring in that, and then attach it to the deck screws up here. My brother, one of my younger brothers, was out visiting a couple weeks ago, and I was telling him that I needed to pull the other winch. You'll recall that I pulled the starboard side winch and redid that. Now I have to do the one on this side, and I don't know if you can see it in this shot. I can't see where the camera is aiming, but so now I've got to pull this one. And anyway, when my brother was out, he said, what's the problem with pulling this other winch? It's just right under here. I'll turn this so you can see it. And yeah, it's just under here, but I can't even see under there from here, from the outside. And then from the inside, I think you saw where it was. So let me demonstrate for you how I'm going to be able to get to this. And it's too bad my brother isn't still out here, because I'd have him do it for me. All right, everybody ready? We're going under. Okay, this is how I reach the winch, and this is how I'll reach all of the deck screws. down under. This is crazy, but it is what it is. So there's the winch, screws, bolts, nuts, whatever, washers. And then there's the deck screws that I'm taking out. You can see that what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out every other one, so to start with, and then I'll come back and do every other one to finish it. But the first one that I took out is there. The washer didn't come off, and so I use a wedge. I mean not a wedge, a chisel, that's what it is, to take it off. And so now that one's off, and I'm working on this one now. And I'm just using one of these ratchet wrenches, and if you don't have a set of these, then if you do any kind of mechanical work, you're missing out, because these things are the cat's meow. And by the way, the reason that I'm doing every other one is because these screws hold the deck, attach the deck to the hull, which I've explained before. And do the deck screws still hold the deck to the hull? I don't know. Am I willing to take them all out at once and find out? No, I'm not. So anyway, onwards and upwards. So I'll pull these screws out from the top and put a bead of 5200 around the underneath the head of the screw. Then I'll that's after I take the screw out, and then I'll push it back in. I'll put a little wrap of the butyl tape around the bottom of the screws that sits just like this, and then tighten down the nut onto it. And then you can see here where probably water has come in this seam here, which is where the deck joins the hull. And what I'm going to do is take a wire brush and clean all of this out of here as best I can. And then, like I did further forward, I'll squeeze butyl tape into this seam. So hopefully the process of sealing the deck screw and sealing the seam will prevent any future water from coming in here. And then I'll paint the hull, which is right here. I'll paint the ceiling, which is right here. I'll pull the winch and do to it what I did with the other one. Then I will pull the laminate that I am laying on and replace that, and then put a shelf front on, and everything will be beautiful. But that's going to take a while. So onwards and upwards, right? Okay. All right. Welcome to the destruction party. Work is coming along nicely. I have removed all of the laminate that is going to be removed, and you can see that the new laminate is on here. You can see the shelf doubler here for this section, and that will continue back here now that the laminate is removed. That will continue all the way back to the bulkhead, which separates the cockpit from the galley. And every place that you see the kind of red color, which is actually the old contact cement, that will be covered with the black laminate. I've got a section here that's going to have to be gapped in, but that's not going to be a problem. And then if you recall from, if you looked at any of the some of the original videos on this channel, you'll recognize this scene, because this is what I did when I first bought the boat, is took out, there used to be a cabinet door here and some storage. And anyway, I took all of that out and I put the refrigerator in there, and right now the refrigerator is over here in the back of the salon. And but anyway, I cut out this section of what used to be the ice box, and now what I'm going to have to do is cut out all of this that you see left of those black lines. And once I take that section out of there, then I'm going to extend the platform that the refrigerator sits on. I'm going to extend it all the way to the bulkhead, and I'm going to have a closed off compartment back here that's going to measure something like 14 by 18 inches. And what I'm going to be able to do is, when I come onto the boat and we're going to go spend the night someplace or something like that, I'm going to have, this will all be cut out, and I'm going to be able to sit the Yeti cooler that we have, rather large Yeti cooler, we'll be able to sit that into this area, this compartment, and it will have a top so that it'll be nice and flush and pretty and all that, because you know I'm all about pretty. So anyway, that is how we look to date, and I'm very pleased. It was a lot of work, I gotta tell you. It was a lot of work, but it's done. And now, after I get that section of the icebox removed, get the bulkheads in there, then we'll be reconstructing, putting the laminate back there, as I said, and on and on. So anyway, I'm real happy so far, and I appreciate you guys watching, and there's some more good stuff to come, so stay with me. Hi guys, just wanted to say thanks for watching my video today and for staying with me and watching my channel. I wanted to relate to you something that happened to me not too long ago. I was coming back from a fabulous day of sailing, and noticed that the engine was putting out the proper RPM for the speed I wanted, but I was not getting the speed that I wanted based on that RPM. So I knew that something was wrong. The engine was working harder, but again, I wasn't getting the propulsion that I would have expected. So when we got back to the dock, I sent a camera down underneath the boat, and this is what I found. Eelgrass had wrapped itself around the prop, and it was totally strangled, and I was surprised that I even was able to make it back into the dock. But if you're having a similar problem when you're out in your boat and you're just not getting the power based on the RPM or the propulsion, send a camera down and take a look underneath, and or else get in the water and check it out yourself. But that's what happened to me, and hopefully it doesn't happen to you.